So, with that, we got the camera rolling. Let me know when we're all set. We're set. Got a thumbs up here. All right, so I want to call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Port of Oswego Authority. This is Monday, November 18th, 2024 at 4:30 p.m. And let's go around introductions.
Bill Scriber, Port of Oswego.
Stan Delia, board member.
Oh, my next.
When you're ready, please.
John Harris Smith, board member.
Connie Casamento, board member.
Fran Enright, board member.
Kitty Macy, board member.
And in the back room here, we have
Pat McMahon, port employee.
Tom Schneider, board consultant.
Kim Natoli, port employee.
Debbie Godwin, port employee.
all right, great. So we're going to move, I want to have a motion, and this would be I'm trying to find the, we already have a number for our executive session. Do you see anything in there? Look ahead,
It would be your ad hoc motion,
yeah, motion number
24,
Three.
2403. So, okay, let's say, I want to make a motion to go in executive session at the 11/18/24. I can. We go to executive session.
I move we go to executive session to discuss several contracts.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Executive session. We're now in regular session. So, everybody ready? We'll start up here on motion 11-18-2401, and that's to approve the minutes of the 09/18/24 regular monthly meeting, which is Exhibit A.
I'll make a motion to accept the.
Yeah.
Second.
Anyone opposed? See none, motion passes. Administrative operational report, Bill.
Okay, I'll make this as brief as possible. You have the monthly report on metric ton moved and ships. We have a large uptick in those numbers, which is very positive. As I said before previously, we're catching up to our budget at the end of the year, and we have 3 ships right now scheduled to come in between now and the end of the year. Probably a 4th one will be scheduled late in December. So Pat, make sure your Christmas tree is already put up and designed well, because looks like we'll be in December again. We had a meeting with Senator Schumer's office on a PIDP grant. Of course, we got it, so there it is, $11.5 million.
Okay.
So that was, I guess, a good meeting. Next, as I said before, we have 3 more scheduled ships. Novellis came here in October to get a tour. They like to keep in contact with us. We showed them the aluminum. They went out, they saw our process. These are different from corporate and different divisions in Novellis. They come here, they like to get a tour, and they feel good about what we're doing here. And they all mentioned there was a lot of aluminum on site. I said, yes, start burning more. So we'll see about what that goes. Micron Steering Committee, as I said, I attended the November 4th meeting. It's going forward, it's positive. I hope the change in administrations doesn't change it. I will say this, it's getting closer and closer to reality. The one thing that's happening that I understand now is the environmentals are like the EPA, the NIPA, the National Environmental Protection Act. They're having to go through that. The SEEKR, which was the State Environmental Quality Review Act, that they've gotten through, but now they got to go to the federal act. Rail scale, our rail scale, which is our second scale that we use to scale trucks. This one's for trucks and or rail. This particular one had an issue. The pucks that read the weight of the scale are so old we can't replace them anymore. And now we have to completely redo them. Pat's worked with the company, which is basically the only company we have, the scale company. We've got a new system. We had to bring CNS engineers in and do a analysis of the structure to see if we could actually re-equip it. Pucks are weight load devices that sit on an area, I think there's what, 2, 4, 6, or 8 of them?
There's
Eight.
eight legs.
8. But when they can't be replaced any longer, we have to buy newer ones, they have to be all installed, they have to have new wire connections, and we need a new monitor, okay? So that has already been approved, we're moving ahead, we've sent the first 40% in to them. The stuff is ordered, hopefully by the middle of December, this should be installed. DeLong, Tom was here for that, Pat was here for that. DeLong had an open house for a number of farmers. They came in, they had a tour of the site, they had pizza, they had a little presentation. Everything I think was good. They're happy. As we're building, as I said, DeLong is building a market here now. A lot of farmers are getting comfortable. They like the way it's working. They're coming in, they're going out fast. Dan Hibbard is the guy who's usually at the grain. I hate to say this, but I'll give him a pat on the back. He's a great, he's great with the farmers. He talks to them, he knows them by name. It's good customer relations. And I think that the farmers coming in by and large are very happy. And Probe, which is run by our interns from the college, we're turning the numbers over very quickly, so the farmers aren't waiting, they're getting through, they're getting 2 or 3 shots a day to come and unload. So I think this is going very, very well.
And maybe just, you know, 'cause there are a lot of trucks that just in and out, I saw, dumping into the pit that then, goes into the silo. And I know you had some trains coming to pull from the silo, which is, it's just really good for us to show DeLong the competencies. How full did, what was the fullest that the silo got?
Year and a half right now.
Yeah, 738 bushels is our capacity. It's 768, but we go to 730 because we never fill a silo all the way to the top, just impossible. So we're halfway there, and they're already looking at doing rail right now. So I think we're on track for a good year, first year, and I wouldn't be surprised that we, after it's emptied, wouldn't be maybe switching to corn for a ship next year. So everything is, I don't want to jinx it. Everything is looking good with DeLong, and I'm sure Tom was with me when we went to Wisconsin to sell the concept with them, so they're familiar with Tom, and it's a family-owned business. They need to know you, and they need to have a relationship. So I'm very happy with that, and that proved in this their little open house with us that's how they operate, and I'm very happy with that. Foreign trade zone, well, we got that on Wednesday the 20th at the college from 10 to noon. We're in conjunction with Operation Sioux County, with Onondaga County Economic Development, local economic development, the college, the port. I'm missing somebody because I don't know the literature, but everybody's collaborating together to start an FTZ. Why is an FTZ important? Because already there's talk of tariffs. And if you remember, those who were here originally during those years, we applied for an FTZ and started when the tariffs are going on. So right now, aluminum, if it's tariffed, can come into the port and we can give them what they all want, cash flow. They don't have to pay the tariff until they pull it out and it goes up the road, or it goes on a rail or truck. So this is great for us, the cash flow, and the advantage of selling an FTZ, foreign trade zone, here. And we're the only game in town. So, and I mean that literally. We're the only one on Lake Ontario in New York that has an FTZ. So we are positioning ourselves long term.
FTZs are working throughout the country?
Yeah, foreign trade zones. Onondaga has one operating warehouse that's an FTZ, and it doesn't have rail connection to it. Just got to do it by truck. We have the water connection, so if aluminum is tariff, and then we're talking about, I think, a 20% tariff. I don't know. I mean, who knows? And Canada, last time, at the end of the day, got under the someone help me out with this, under the NAFTA, he dropped the tariff at that point in time. The way it's being talked now, the NAFTA is maybe not gonna be used in the same way it was 4 years ago with tariffs. So we have a foreign trade zone, so it's out there.
Well,
So,
you have an asset during a period in time when you're going to have a change in administration that, again, what does a tariff really do? Because, you know, it's very easy to say, hey, that's inflationary, it's going to be passed on to the consumer, but it's about making it more economical for American companies to invest in American product rather than importing it.
Right.
Conceptually, that's fine, but the labor cost differentials are still phenomenally different. So, you know, hopefully, you know, I had hopes that there'd be, you know, a good team that might be brought in, and, you know, I think there are some people who've been asked to join the administration who are, you know, reasonable, centrist, knowledgeable about how global and national economics work. And then I think there are some real nuts.
and I have to add this one thing about aluminum and bauxite. Largest bauxite deposits are in Canada, near the Alouette Mill and Sep Deals. And aluminum, unlike other materials, it's cheaper to do it by water. If you're going to supply a Novelis plant, you don't want to do it by rail, and you want to do it only by truck. If you put a tariff on it and you try to divert it all that way, the cost is American aluminum isn't only in Messina, and the quality and the volume is so low, it could never supplement the plant sitting up here. It's gotta come from the bauxite and the mills up in Canada. It's just location, location, location.
Or the new plant in Kentucky.
Yeah, the closest supply chain for this plant is Canada. So what you'd be doing is disadvantaging local employment at Novelis and the Ford F-150 in Detroit, the #1 selling vehicle in the United States, if not the world probably. So a tariff would adversely affect this plant, adversely affect the supply chain, because aluminum can't be just, you can't take aluminum if there's no aluminum being manufactured anywhere in the eastern United States, and it isn't, except for one plant. Tom, okay, I'll just go to the next one. New loader, we received it, it's great, it reduced our amount we're paying per month, so that's a good thing. Army Corps of Engineers were here, Lieutenant Commander did his normal show and go. We gave him a presentation. I think you were here, right, Tom? You were here.
I was
Yeah,
here, Fran
Yeah.
popped in during it.
Just gave him a presentation report. They do this once a year. You know, he did say that in December they're putting out a project, break wall project for the east wall, which is west, and then the break wall east is gonna go out. Who knows what it's gonna be? Right now, it'll be out in December. Tom, keep him informed. Next, Break Bulk Americas and H2O. Tom, you take this one. I'm getting tired.
Yeah, so, you know, I had the opportunity, and it really was a great opportunity to go with Bill to both, you know, Break Bulk America in Houston, which we were representatives of Highway H2O, which is, you know, really just the, you know, it's a marketing theme of the inner waterway system from, you know, through the St. Lawrence out to, I don't even know what the furthest lake is, I don't know where my lake is. But yeah, except I'm not, Duluth is really the furthest port, so I don't think
Duluth
it's
is the last, we're the first.
And what they had there, you know, and break bulk would be kind of, I didn't understand it, but, you know, in the trucking industry, I did understand less than full, right? You go somewhere and you know, you're dropping off a shipment, you're picking up something else, and you're less than full, and you're trying to coordinate another, you know, something on the way back to grab more cargo. Well, that's really doing it, you know, in these bulk ships, but I've been to a lot of conferences, conventions, never worked at trade side thing, I've always been in the educational meetings, but it was huge, and there were many, many companies represented. You know, we got to meet a lot of people. Bill is very well known and respected in the industry. We had dinner again with Peter Height, who's with the St. Lawrence Seaway Corporation, which is really what H2O is, you know, part of the branding of, except it includes the Canadian side and the American side. Really a lot to learn. There are a lot of you know, vendors that supply the industry in Houston, whereas the Toronto, you know, a smaller group really comprised of ports, stevedoring companies, shippers, forwarders, you know, people who own ships, and you know these people devote a tremendous amount of resources to these ships that are very unique, the Lakers. And you know, what I found interesting is that, you know, who was it, Spleeth, building a new ship, and you know, Bill's next to me, and he's, you know, he's very annoyed that, you know, America has given up its shipbuilding and all of those technologies and capabilities to China, because they're getting their ships built in China to be brought over here. And there really aren't shipyards in the Great Lakes that there need to be. There's a lot of focus on, you know, lowering carbon footprint. And ships right away make a lot of sense, because, you know, one ship, you know, equals, you know, 3 rails, or, you know, 9 trucks. So you're taking a lot of carbon off anytime you're transporting on the ship. But there was a lot of focus on the environmental component of it, and it was kind of all over the place. But there was a shipbuilder who said, hey, we need to, you know, if we're going to put, you know, electrical ports in, you know, all of these docks and ports, how about the plugs are the same size, you know? You know, but, you know, does that really work versus, you know, scrubbing out, you know, through their own engine systems? So I think you're going to see, you know, you saw what's been appointed at the EPA level. You're going to be seeing some changes in the energy industry. I think the Great Lakes stands to, you know, perhaps benefit from that, but it is a lot of unused infrastructure, the Great Lakes Seaway system, as opposed to our highways and our railways, which are over capacity, and this is under capacity. And so it's real interesting to learn, again, real interesting to meet new people. I will tell you that the gentleman who works for Udagag and is really the head of the DOT for the St. Lawrence Seaway system, and, you know, the Great Lakes system, Adam Tinswell,
Schlick.
Schlick, yeah, it's a hyphenated name, but he announced a few people's retirement, including the fact that he probably wouldn't be back, but he did refer to Bill as the amazing Bill Scriva. So I thought I was sitting next to Spider-Man. Even though he sighs a lot during the presentations, because he doesn't agree with what's going on. But it was, it was real good stuff, and was very educational, and it gave us a chance to spend a lot of time together. I'm sure he's very sick of me.
I drove them.
He drove because I assured him if I drove, he'd be scared.
No, I brought Tom with these because it's very important to get immersed in the system. The system is unique. It's not East Coast, it's not West Coast system. It's a
Not
unique
golf.
system that's not like any other system. And it runs by people who really collaborate and are like to share. And they love their job. By and large, they love their job.
There was a woman who had just come up to a court, I can't remember which one, from Port of Houston, and, you know, she said, I've never seen this level of collegiality down in the Gulf. It's all about competition and not liking each other as opposed to coordinating and cooperating with each other. So, you know, more would you expect from Midwesterners?
So, it was great having Tom there. I think I introduced you to a lot of people. You probably won't remember half of them, that's all right. The concepts were all there. I had, I guess, an exit interview with the U.S. Department of Transportation. It was an interview that they have a communication that goes out once a month, so you'll probably get a copy of that. It's a newsletter and a video. Basically, you've spent your time here, what are your advantages, what are you gonna do in retirement? I'm gonna fish, okay? Well, that's what I'm doing, play golf and fish in my retirement. Transloading rail, here's where Tom is gonna get the advantages over me. It probably won't start until January, but I'm trying to get him up to meet Tom, and I'm not naming the company, in this month, or early December, because that's still a go on that project. It just, there's delays in the plant. So that is a go, and Pat and I have been out looking at spaces, right, Pat? You're already starting at devising, moving stuff to get ready for it, because worst thing you wanna do is have the project on January 5th and have no place. So, we've been planning for it and doing that. And in fact, there's a plan, and I'm not gonna go over it all tonight, but we have a plan for next year too. Border Patrol Station, gonna go to escrow quickly. All the letters went out. We required 90 days, so it won't close till end of January or beginning of February. I'm gonna sign escrow paperwork, and that will lock that project in. We had huge drainage issues up at Fitzgibbons. Pat, you can talk about those drainage issues, because I'm still depressed about it. Go ahead. Tell them what we had to do, and make it short, because it's depressing.
We have dealt with the city has been great helping us. There's a storm drain that runs from the city through Fitzgibbons to the lake with overflow. If there's large quantities of water. Found out that the pipes caved in after all these years. So it took us 2 weeks of digging and digging to try to find the pipe. Like I said, the city was there, the fort was involved. We were pulling blueprints up from 1926, trying to find these paperwork. Everything that showed us we were in the wrong spot. We did finally find it. We put new piping in, so now everything is draining. We know of right now, there's no puddling up to Fitzgibbon, so everything is draining like it's supposed to be again.
And you have to understand, when those heavy torrential rains were here last month, it totally created an inland lake up there.
Yes.
An inland lake. And this was one of those things, I hate to say, it wasn't deferred maintenance, it's just old infrastructure, and it just happens, and you have to deal with it, and we dealt with it. So again, we brought in, as Pat said, everybody came in, we all were at the table. Unfortunately, I had to sign bills and POs, but It had to be done, because guess what? You're gonna have a windmill project up there, you got a rock project up there, and you can't have another torrential downpour and have 4 or 5 inches of water. Yeah, on all the stuff, so, yeah, I just don't spend money because I want to, I spend money because I have to. So, and that's it, Mr. Chairman, I'm done talking, so I'm all set.
Any questions of Bill before I move on? Okay, that's administrative. 4 administrative financial reports. This is for A, the primary, and B, subsidiary. Stan?
Yeah, I think my 18-minute presentation is, condense it down to 3 minutes if possible. Well, we see the trend, this is the time of year when things slow down, so the cash position is just down a little bit. On the balance sheet, when compared to 1 year ago, the total assets have increased as they actually do with NGA, more projects, so that's looking good. Good share of the assets increase was due to grants receivable, which are still on their way coming in, so that's gonna be some good news. And I mentioned this measure the last time, one time to look at an organization to see how well it's doing financially, is to look at the ratio, divide the total current assets by the total current liabilities. And if the ratio is more than 1, then we're doing okay. For this month, it comes out to be 2.13. So, you know, despite everything else, we're looking okay financially. I'll move on to the profit and loss statement. Compared to September 2023, we're down a little bit, but still looking good. Net ordinary income, the month of September was down, but, and that's it on that. Okay. And that's about it. Nothing really outstanding in maintaining our course. And, you know, just to say financially, we're talking about the past and present, as you guys have been saying, the future's really looking good. We've got a lot of activity going on, so we should see the financial numbers get back up there in the next couple of 3 months, despite it being almost winter time now. So that's it on that. One thing I know Bill always tries to talk about is, as an organization and agency, we've got to operate in the black. But at the same time, our mission statement is to help economic activity throughout Oswego County and central New York, and we're doing that job there. So that's it for me.
Thanks, Dan. So we have a motion, 11/18/2402, that's to accept the September's and October's primary financial reports and the subsidiary financial reports.
I'll make a motion to accept.
So, second.
Anyone opposed? The motion passes. Okay, Chairman's report. I have nothing new to add to everything we've already said right now. Committee reports, Executive Committee, Patty.
No.
Okay, Audit and Finance Committee,
Okay.
Governance,
No report.
and Kitty Planning and Development.
I've been here, no, big report.
Yeah, we are just knocking this right off here. Old business, I see none. And then we got new business here, and we're on item number 8. And that is the supplemental fee for engineering and construction administrative services for the Port of Oswego Authority. This is 03, the Ready 02 Global Marina. And this explains the increase for the Global Marina contract with CNS Engineering due to several changes and additional time and efforts in completion of the project. It's in a letter dated November 5th, 2024 from Carl Road, Exhibit D. Okay. Yeah, go
Okay, we originally accepted and contracted for a set amount on the global dry dock. There were some other engineering fees that needed to do. I just felt it would be more transparent and more, it'd be better for the board to understand, you approve the contract, amend the contract to allow for this. It's minor amount, it's under 7,000, but in all honesty, you should know that, and I should have the authorization to go ahead and pay that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we're ever audited, I have a resolution.
And we are now at, let's see, this would be out of our executive session, and this would be motion 11-18-2404. Now, this would be as I understand this is allow the board chair or the vice chair or the chair of the Audit and Finance Committee, and this is to approve the, let's see. Would this be the hours?
It would, yeah, it would be the hours.
Finance, the hours of our advisor, Tom Snyder. That's
And
what-
I think the end doors really include two people reviewing as a
Yeah,
as a
we're,
control mechanism.
okay, yeah, so let's say that would be two of the three
Yep.
officers of the board to approve the hours of our advisor, Tom Snyder. And those would be, as I mentioned, board chair, vice chair, and or finance, audit and finance chair. So I'll need a motion that's,
Do we need to make a motion?
yeah, someone,
Oh, we need first and
I'll
second?
move it. Is there any questions on that? Do you have any questions on that? Connie,
No,
you willing to accept this huge responsibility?
we're sign checks.
Okay. I need a second.
Set.
I'll do
Kit, you do.
Kitty, you moved it, you're first.
it. Okay, I can't do it. I did it.
Second.
Committee, second. Anyone opposed? And, motion passed.
So wait, I had Kit and John. Is it now John and Kit?
No, it's Kit and
Good
Jen.
job, okay.
It's still Kit and Jen.
There you go.
Okay.
And then finally, item number 10, this is a motion 11-18-2405, and that's to adjourn from the regular monthly meeting.
Did we need to do his, so we did review, last week we were just talking about?
The what? I can't hear you.
No, it had to be something that you were talking about, filing something, just before this.
No, I'm all set.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bill was providing supplemental information regarding the change order from the engineering firm because of.
It's an informational item. I am actually empowered to do change orders, but I wanted you all to know I have to do the change order. Right,
Okay.
yes. In transparency, I didn't want you to come back and say, why'd you spend that 7,000 in 2 months? You do auditing and why'd we go over that? So,
Okay, so that is a
We wanted to
motion.
tell you it was bathroom engineer.
I'm just gonna,
11-18-2405 to adjourn.
So moved.
second, okay, stand up.
All right. We are adjourned.
Your name and your first name.